Hello and welcome to another episode of the Coach Hughes Show. As always, I'm joined by Minot State football coach Tyler Hughes. It's week 11, last week of the season. Here you guys are traveling to Minnesota Duluth. Let's talk about last week's game a little bit. What was Crookston able to do against you guys that led to so much success on their part?
Well, I think from the get-go, they were a hungry team, and they showed that in the way they were just warming up on the field, the way they took the field early on. I think it was a game that they felt that they could be successful in, and they were. And I think for our part, we just didn't come to play and to coach with the right type of mentality. It just showed. It showed throughout the game. It was a tighter score in the second quarter, and we let it slip away from us. Particularly in the third quarter, and they, again, to their credit, they came ready to play, and we didn't. And the results were the proof of that.
You talk about that tight score early on. You ran a fake punt that you were successful on before when running it. The snap was fumbled and kind of turned over on downs there, and they were in pretty good field position. Scored on that play. Do you think that momentum shift kind of hurt you guys in the long run, or was it more of they were playing all game long?
Well, yeah, it hurt us. It was unfortunate that we weren't able to execute that play properly. And so, yeah, it definitely hurt us. But at the same time, I think that, there's always plays that happen in a game, that can work against you. And the challenge for a team is always to overcome those things. And even if it stings you, momentarily, you still have to quickly get back on your feet and get moving. And, I don't know if that was necessarily the main play, but there were certainly moments where we just showed signs that we just weren't able to get ourselves going. And, that was early in the game. It was before that fake punt. It was after. So, again, I think just pregame mentality was just not where it needed to be.
You've been rotating quarterbacks all season long. In the last couple games, Jose Escobar and Isaiah Weed have been going in and out time and time again. Isaiah Weed looked to take over the game a little bit there at the end. I think they both had about the same amount of passing attempts overall. But who's the quarterback going forward? Is that something you're going to wait to see in practice, see how they perform in practice, or do you have an idea of who you're looking at?
Yeah, no, Jose's done a good job for us. We had went with Isaiah in the second half, and I think that's the direction we'll go here. As we close out the season. I'm sure Jose will get some reps here and there, but I think right now we're leaning towards Isaiah and see how he does. And again, I think Jose will get some time, and I think he's a good team player, and he's a guy that I like and respect for sure. But I think right now, we're looking at our future, and Isaiah is going to be a big part of that, and so we want to give him an opportunity to show what he can do and just see what happens.
You guys are going into Minnesota Duluth, a team that's been in and out of the top 25 all season long, and they're undefeated at home. What kind of challenges does that represent for your team? Are they gearing up for this? Is a pretty big game going into Minnesota Duluth.
Well, Duluth's a great program. It's one that we've respected here, and we think well of them in terms of their players and their coaches. We definitely need to be ready to play and be excited to play. It's our last game of the 2015 season. It'll be the last opportunity for these guys to play together. Hopefully that means something to them. I know it means something to me and our coaches. So it's got to be a game where we come out practicing well today and throughout the week and be mentally ready. Duluth isn't sitting up there feeling bad for Minot State. I know that, and so we've got to make sure that we are ready and to be competitive in a great college football game.
They're a team that runs the ball almost twice as much as they pass the ball. How do you get your defenses, their confidence back up after the performance from last week? How do you get them prepared going into this game?
Well, one, the players need to recognize they've done a lot of good things, particularly against the run over the season. So they need to understand that they've done well against the run before. And then the second thing is, for players, they need to recognize too that every week is a challenge, and just like anything in life, I mean, there's challenges and adversity all the time, and so you can't sit around and expect somebody else to build your confidence back up. They've got to also be willing to get grinding and get working. And confidence, something we've talked about in our program in the past, confidence is earned, it's not given. And so they have to earn it by the way they practice, the way they watch film, the way they lift weights this week. I mean, again, it's an earned behavior, and nobody's going to give it to you. So that's one big thing that we've got to do is the whole program, not just the defense, but the entire program we got to do this week.
Duluth won their last game against Minot State, 14-9. They scored 14 of those points in that first quarter, though. So they went 3 quarters scoreless. And you guys have seen Bemidji State, seen what their defense is capable of doing. What are some things that you think that you can match Bemidji State's success defensively in those last 3 quarters of the game?
Well, I mean, Duluth's a good offense, and you'd pointed out, they're a strong running team. They've got a couple of good wideouts, but first thing first, they start running the ball. So, as far as what Bemidji did, I mean, I think Bemidji's just a team that plays very sound. We saw that they don't do anything necessarily fancy. They don't have a bunch of star players. They have a bunch of guys that play their job and play it very well. And that's why they've had success this season defensively and for their whole program for that matter. They never lose sight of this is what we have to do as a team to be successful. So that's where they had some success defensively against Duluth. Our players, we need to respond in a similar fashion, that we just all have a job to do and just do it over and over and over again and be satisfied with what your role is, and then go and excel within that role. And that's where guys mentally need to be, as we take on this Duluth team.
You're going into the last game of the season. It's only your second season with Minot State. So you've seen some things from year 1 to year 2. Obviously, you've said before that wins and losses are important, but what are some things that you've seen that your team has improved on from last season to this season?
Well, I think one big area is physically we're much better, than we were a year ago. That was an off-season development issue, and so that was good. I think we developed the depth in our program, although we're not where we need to be quite yet, but we have developed the depth, which has been nice. I think we've been much better regarding situational football, which is a key component to winning and losing, understanding third down and red zone and the vital areas towards winning and losing. I think our team has got into a little bit more of a consistent pattern as far as what we do and how the program will be ran. As we go forward, things I'll be looking for will be for guys who will continue to put the team first, that they'll be thoughtful about that at all times, decision making on and off the field, their commitment to their academic performance. I think all those things lead to having a good team. I don't think you have great athletes that play great and then because of that they start doing all the right things everywhere else in their life. I think they do everything right, before they get on the field, and then the on-field stuff takes care of itself. And so that's a major area that we want to continue to work towards and get better with is just the way that we, operate day to day and everything that we do in our lives, and that'll translate to winning in the way that we want to in the future.
So the consistency and things like that, and building up in the off season. What are some things even going into this week, and then looking into the future, into next season? What are some things that your program really needs to key in on and start improving on to turn this around and make it a successful team? Well,
this week, we've basically got 6 days left of the football season, right? So let's make it a great 6 days. Let's not sit around and wonder how we should operate in the 6 days. Let's just make it a great 6 days, one day at a time, again, on and off the field. And if we take that attitude, we have a positive attitude, we'll play at our best on Saturday, and, regardless of what happens, I just want to see our team play at their best. And then that will provide some of the character foundation that we need going into the off season, that we're going to have a great attitude in everything that we do. And again, if we have a great attitude in our approach, the results come. If we don't, then the results come that way too, and those aren't the ones that we're looking for. And so that's the biggest thing. It's just let's improve every day this week. Let's have a great attitude, and that'll, hopefully get us moving, towards the 2016 season.
All right. Well, Coach, thanks for all your insight this season so far. We'll be back this winter to talk about some signing days, some commits that you guys have coming in. We look forward to that show and wish you the best of luck this week.